Deep in an unnamed forest, location withheld, perhaps to protect the living or conceal the dead, a lone hiker encountered something that defied explanation. He was trekking through dense woodland when movement behind a bush caught his eye. Something large, something wrong. Instinct screamed danger, so he maintained his distance and started recording, hands already trembling. When he relocated the creature, his worst fears materialized before his lens. This was no ordinary animal.
Oh, there. Look at that. What the heck is that? What the heck is that?
Tall, dark, bipedal, a nightmare given flesh, standing where no such thing should exist. Then it noticed him, and it charged. The video cuts to black as he fled for his life, camera forgotten, survival the only thought burning through his terror-soaked mind. What happened next remains a chilling mystery. Did the creature run him down in those suffocating woods? Did massive hands close around him as he screamed into the indifferent forest? Or did it simply want him gone, a territorial warning delivered with primal fury? We may never know the truth. The footage surfaced online eventually. Either he survived long enough to upload it himself, or someone stumbled upon his abandoned camera deep in those woods, discovering this final, terrifying recording and sharing it with the world anonymously. Across centuries of sightings and whispered native legends, Bigfoot has shown a disturbing duality. Sometimes, rarely, it displays calm curiosity, watching humans from the shadows with eerie intelligence. Observers describe something unnervingly deliberate in its movements, something that suggests higher thought, awareness. But there's a darker reality lurking beneath those encounters. Witnesses report savage rock barrages, camps violently destroyed, bone-chilling roars that freeze the blood. Hunters describe being systematically driven out, targeted by something that understands tactics, that plans. Wood knocks echo through midnight forests, warnings from an intelligence we barely comprehend. This aggression isn't mindless. It's territorial, protective, purposeful. Was this hiker's encounter a father defending unseen offspring? A warning that went tragically unheeded? The video is brief, abrupt, and utterly terrifying. And somewhere in those woods, the truth still waits in the darkness. What do you think really happened when that camera stopped rolling? This is the most disturbing Bigfoot encounter ever captured on camera. What happened to Frank and Don in the frozen mountains of Alberta, Canada, will make your blood run cold. The footage emerged on November 5, 2025, grainy, ancient-looking, as if it had been deliberately hidden for years. When it was actually filmed remains a mystery, but what it contains is pure terror. Frank and Don were experienced hunters, familiar with these mountains. On this particular snowy evening, they rode their ATV deep into the wilderness and split up. That decision would prove fatal. Frank's camera starts rolling when he hears them, strange, deliberate knocks echoing from the darkness nearby. Something is out there. Something is signaling. Unnerved, he abandons his position and races back to Don's hunting stand. It's empty. He shouts into the blackness, searching desperately. Don has vanished. Night is falling fast. Panic sets in.
Don? Don?
Frank jumps on his ATV to search for his missing friend, but the engine refuses to start. It sputters and dies repeatedly, as if the forest itself is trapping him there.
that you?
He's alone, stranded, and something is watching. With no choice, Frank ventures into the hostile darkness on foot. That's when he finds it. A severed deer head on the frozen ground, surrounded by antlers arranged in an unnatural circle. His heart pounds. This isn't random. Something intelligent did this.
What the hell is this?
Moving deeper, he discovers a massive structure, a towering shelter built like a primitive teepee. But this area is completely uninhabited. No human comes here. So what constructed this? As he investigates, he hears movement. Something enormous is shifting behind the trees, branches cracking under tremendous weight. Frank loads his rifle, his hands trembling. What happens next is captured on film. He fires into the darkness. Then he grabs his camera, shining the light toward the sound. There it is, something massive and dark, impossibly tall, lurking between the trees. The footage shows it clearly. This is not human. Frank remembers what happened next with terror in his voice. The behemoth charged. He fired again, missed. The creature slammed into him with devastating force, hurling him to the ground. Everything went black. When he came to, minutes had passed. The creature was gone, vanished. But the horror wasn't over. Frantically, Frank searched the area and discovered more structures, shelter after shelter, each filled with animal bones and rotting remains. On top of one structure lay what he describes as a juvenile bipedal creature, dead and decaying. Was it a young Sasquatch? A deformed bear? The truth remains unclear, but the implications are terrifying. By some miracle, Frank found his ATV. This time it started immediately. He escaped that cursed forest with his life and this bone-chilling footage. But Don never emerged. His friend's fate remains unknown, swallowed by whatever stalks those mountains. No further information exists about him. He simply disappeared. This footage may be the most compelling evidence ever recorded, proof that something ancient and predatory inhabits the vast wilderness of Alberta. Something that hunts in the darkness, something that takes people. The question isn't whether you believe Frank's story. The question is, what really happened to Don?
It's to the right of him. He's walking that way.
What trees?
Trees? Okay. See that king?
In 2001, something emerged from the wilderness that still defies explanation. Youth group leader Jim Mills and his teenage campers ventured into the remote Marble Mountain wilderness of Northern California, an isolated, unforgiving landscape where civilization feels like a distant memory. What they discovered there would haunt them forever.
It's kind of looking at us.
I don't see it.
Moving
The
now.
trees? It's to the right of him. He's walking that way.
What trees?
Trees?
Do you see?
Okay. See that king's castle?
Yeah. He's that
Down that
kind
hill.
of little skinny thing.
The whole thing.
Oh, that's him.
Yeah. On the right side of the tree.
Kind of small, but this is a far way away.
Deep in the forest, they stumbled upon a massive shelter constructed from broken branches and logs. It wasn't natural. Something built it, something with intelligence and tremendous strength. The structure loomed there like a warning they failed to heed. Then someone saw it. A towering, dark figure stood on a distant ridge above their campsite, watching them. Panic erupted as they grabbed a camcorder, hands shaking, and began filming what would become the legendary Marble Mountain Bigfoot footage. The video shows something that shouldn't exist, a massive, upright silhouette moving deliberately across the rocky terrain. Even from a distance, its size is undeniable. Tall, impossibly broad, dark as a shadow given flesh. Watch closely and you'll see the arms. They swing unnaturally long as the creature moves with a disturbing gait, too awkward to be human, too purposeful to be anything else. The lighting obscures details, but what remains visible is enough to make your skin crawl. The group's voices crack with terror and disbelief as they watch the thing traverse the ridge. They know they're witnessing something that shouldn't be real. Skeptics dismiss it as a hiker or hoax, but the Marble Mountain wilderness is brutally remote, miles from any town, surrounded by dense forest and treacherous terrain. What human would wander alone through that isolated hellscape? The proportions are wrong, the arms too long, the height too extreme compared to the surrounding landscape, and that shelter of bent trees, a calling card of something that dwells in these mountains. Jim Mills knows what stalked his group that day. He'll tell you without hesitation, they saw a Bigfoot. The campers believe it too, their memories forever scarred by that dark figure watching from above. Something lives in those mountains, something that builds, something that watches, something waiting. Deep in the suffocating wilderness of Priest Lake, Idaho, on the cursed night of Halloween 2025, a lone hiker stumbled upon something that would haunt him forever. He had ventured into those woods countless times before, always alone, always confident. The trails had never betrayed him. Wildlife sightings were routine, harmless. But on this October evening, as shadows lengthened and darkness crept between the ancient trees, everything changed. Miles deep into the suffocating forest, where civilization felt like a distant memory, he saw something moving at the path's end. Something wrong. Something that shouldn't exist. His trembling hands fumbled for his camera as he crept closer. When his eyes finally focused on what stood before him, his blood turned to ice. A Sasquatch-like creature, massive and impossible, stood with its back to him. Then it hurt him. Slowly, too slowly, it began to turn. The deliberate movement was more terrifying than any sudden lunge. When it finally faced him, its eyes locked onto his and time stopped. Ancient, intelligent, watching. He ran. God, how he ran, crashing through undergrowth, gasping for air, certain that massive thing would pursue. But when he dared look back, it simply stood there, motionless, as if it had always been part of that cursed forest. The footage he captured is disturbingly real. The proportions, the matted fur, that face, everything screams authenticity. Idaho's wilderness has always harbored secrets. Clearwater, Selway Bitterroot, the Snake River region, all plagued by unexplained howls, phantom wood knocks, screams that echo through midnight darkness. Could this be the evidence that finally proves we're not alone in those woods? What nightmare do you think he really encountered? In 2019, a man set up trail cameras in the forest near his home to monitor wildlife. What his camera captured instead will make you question everything you thought you knew about what lurks in the woods. The image remained buried, unseen, until recently. Now that it's surfaced, it's impossible to forget. The photograph shows something that shouldn't exist, a dark, impossibly thin humanoid figure standing among the trees. It's covered in matted hair, its body twisted into an unnatural hunched posture that suggests both intelligence and something horribly wrong. But it's the details that truly terrify. The domed head, the absence of any visible snout, and the arms. Dear God, the arms stretch down far too long, reaching toward the ground in a way that defies human anatomy. This thing stands between 6 and 7 feet tall, a skeletal nightmare given flesh. Investigators examined the image, hoping to identify it as a bear or known ape species. They couldn't. The proportions don't match anything that should inhabit these woods. No snout rules out bears. The elongated limbs eliminate every known primate in the region. Some dismiss it, claiming it doesn't resemble the typical Bigfoot. But that's what makes it more terrifying. Eyewitness accounts of these creatures vary wildly depending on location and environment. In the Pacific Northwest, witnesses describe massive ape-like giants. In southern swamps, they report slimmer, reddish creatures. Some encounters describe calm, curious behavior. Others speak of loud, aggressive attacks that leave witnesses traumatized for life. What if they're all true? What if multiple species of these things exist, evolved differently across regions, adapted to their territories? This trail camera captured something real, something thin and twisted, something with arms that reach too far and eyes that see in the dark. That man's camera was meant for deer and rabbits. Instead, it photographed your nightmares. It's still out there, watching. A father and son went camping at Salt Fork State Park in Ohio, seeking a peaceful weekend in nature. What they encountered instead sent them fleeing into the night, too terrified to stay another moment. As darkness consumed the forest and the sun bled out behind the trees, the father noticed something moving through the woods. Something that walked upright, something that shouldn't exist. He grabbed his camera with trembling hands and began filming. The footage shows a creature covered in brown hair, striding effortlessly up the hillside with unnatural speed and grace. Its movements are too fluid, too purposeful. This isn't a bear. This isn't human. This is something else entirely. The father and son watched in horror as it disappeared into the shadows. Then they made a decision that may have saved their lives. They abandoned their campsite immediately and fled the park, too shaken and terrified to risk what might happen if they stayed. Safety wasn't guaranteed there anymore. Something was watching. The man later uploaded the footage to YouTube, desperate for answers. Enhanced versions followed. Brightness increased, footage stabilized, zoomed in to reveal every horrifying detail of what stalked them that night. Salt Fork State Park has earned its reputation as one of the Midwest's most active Bigfoot hotspots. Since the 1980s, over 35 separate encounters have been reported within or near the park boundaries. The stories are consistent and chilling. Tall, hairy figures walking ridges at dusk, deep guttural howls echoing through the darkness, thunderous wood knocks reverberating from unknown sources, massive footprints pressed into the mud along remote trails, a thick, overpowering, musky stench that appears from nowhere, and worst of all, glowing eyes watching from the tree line at night. The locals have a name for it, the Ohio Grassman. This footage may have captured it, a creature that hunts in the shadows of Salt Fork. It's still there, waiting for the next campers. April 21st, 2013. A man went birdwatching in the dense forests straddling the Tennessee-Georgia border, a routine activity he'd done countless times before. He expected to film robins and sparrows. Instead, he captured something that would destroy his sense of reality forever. The footage, over 11 years old but still bone-chilling, shows the moment his peaceful hobby turned into a waking nightmare. His camera pans away from the trees, no longer searching for birds, now tracking something that shouldn't exist. A towering, hair-covered figure moves through the forest with disturbing purpose. Long, straggly brown hair hangs from its massive frame as it walks upright between the trees. Then it makes a sound, a low, guttural growl that vibrates through the air like a warning. The witness estimated the creature stood 9 feet tall. 9 feet. That's not a person in a costume. That's something else entirely, something massive and primal that has no business existing in our world. Watch how it moves. The gait is too natural, too fluid. The muscle definition visible beneath the matted hair is anatomically correct. The proportions are wrong for any known animal, yet somehow disturbingly right for the legends. The man's hands shake as he films. He knows what he's seeing, and terror is setting in. This is real. Bigfoot is real, and it's walking toward him. He doesn't wait to see what happens next. He runs, fleeing the forest in blind panic, certain that whatever stalks these woods is dangerous beyond comprehension. He escaped with his life that day, but he'll never birdwatch in those woods again, because now he knows what's watching back. November 7th, 2025. Fresh footage. Something emerging from the fog. The video is disturbingly clear, yet the dense, suffocating mist obscures just enough to make your skin crawl. A massive silhouette moves through the gray void, neither fully human nor animal. Something in between. Something wrong. This isn't the first time. Recently, multiple videos have surfaced showing these creatures lurking in fog-choked forests. Why now? Why the fog? Are they using it as cover, watching us from within that impenetrable veil? The caption claims, "This is the best Bigfoot footage yet," and God help us, it might be. Through swirling mist, the creature appears, ape-like features twisted with unsettling human characteristics. Thick, powerful, ancient. It walks with deliberate purpose, then stops. Slowly, impossibly slowly, it turns and stares into the distance. That's when the cameraman runs. The encounter ends too soon, leaving us with questions that burrow into the mind like parasites. The creature's build screams authenticity, massive shoulders, dense musculature, proportions no human could replicate. But skeptics whisper darker possibilities. A costume? AI manipulation? In 2025, technology can conjure nightmares indistinguishable from reality. Yet the witness swears it's real, denies every accusation. Here's what terrifies most. 2 separate videos, both within weeks, both showing these beings materializing from fog like specters. Different locations, different witnesses, the same impossible creature. Coincidence? Hoax? Or are we finally glimpsing something that's always been watching from the mist, waiting for the perfect moment to be seen? What's hiding in the fog near you? Deep in the suffocating darkness, a trail camera captures something that shouldn't exist. This isn't your typical daytime glimpse through distant trees. This is night, true, absolute darkness where nightmares walk freely. And something walked directly past that camera. The image freezes your blood. A massive, pale humanoid silhouette cuts through pitch blackness, illuminated only by the camera's cold flash. Behind it, skeletal branches reaching like grasping fingers, ground barely visible beneath its feet. But the creature itself is unmistakable. Motion blur betrays its movement. Forward momentum, that distinctive patty-style gait that witnesses describe with trembling voices. It's retreating, melting back into woods that seem eager to swallow it whole. Even blurred, its features are disturbingly clear. Broad, powerful shoulders, a sturdy, inhuman build. Thick, coarse fur hanging from its massive frame like something primeval, something that predates civilization itself. It moved through that forest, like it owned the night. Skeptics immediately cry hoax, a prankster in costume, they insist. But cryptozoologists examining the image find something deeply unsettling. No seams, no fabric edges, no human indicators. Just solid living creature captured in its natural habitat. Who would orchestrate such an elaborate deception on a random trail camera, miles from anywhere in complete darkness? And for what purpose? The evidence stands before us, frozen in that terrible flash of light. Solid, undeniable, waiting. Will experts validate this nightmare? Or will it join countless other encounters, dismissed, explained away, forgotten? But that creature in the photograph knows the truth, and it's still out there, walking through the darkness. An outdoorsman ventured into the wilderness on what should have been an ordinary hike. What he filmed instead will shake everything you thought you knew about myth and reality. Posted on October 27, 2025, the footage is brief but devastatingly clear. Too clear to dismiss easily. Walking through a forest clearing is a creature that belongs in ancient legends, not the modern world. A griffin, part lion, part eagle, wholly impossible. The thing moves with predatory grace, its leonine body rippling with muscle, its massive wings folded against its back. Then it does something that makes your blood run cold. It stops, turns, and looks directly at the camera with eyes that gleam with terrifying intelligence. Then it continues walking, disappearing into the trees as if it owns them. The griffin is one of humanity's oldest nightmares, a fusion of nature's apex predators. The body, tail, and hind legs of a lion. The head, wings, and razor-sharp talons of an eagle. Ancient civilizations carved its image into stone, painted it on temples, whispered stories of its power as a guardian of treasure and destroyer of the foolish. But those were just myths, folklore, fantasy, weren't they? This footage suggests otherwise. The creature's proportions are correct, its movements natural, its presence undeniable. Skeptics scream hoax, claiming the video is too good to be true. Believers argue that ancient legends had to come from somewhere, from witnesses who saw something real and terrifying. Deep in untouched wilderness, away from civilization's eyes, could such creatures still exist? If griffins are real, what else from our darkest myths is waiting in the shadows? What else is watching us? Early September 2025. A man lies sleeping in his tent, deep in the wilderness, unaware that his worst nightmare is about to become horrifyingly real. He wakes to the sound of fabric tearing. Not wind, not branches, something else, something with claws. Two massive brown bears are ripping through his tent while he's still inside, their powerful jaws and razor-sharp claws shredding the thin material like paper. He freezes in absolute terror, paralyzed as the beasts tear through the only barrier between him and a gruesome death. They're hunting, starving, desperate for food, and he's lying right there, soft, vulnerable, easy prey. Grizzly bears are killing machines. Adult males weigh between 400 and 1,000 pounds of pure muscle and rage. The distinctive hump over their shoulders gives them terrifying digging strength and bone-crushing power. Their thick fur ranges from tan to nearly black, camouflaging them perfectly in the shadows. These bears are omnivores. They eat plants, they eat animals, they eat humans. The man lies motionless as the bears continue their assault on his tent, inches from his trembling body. One swipe of those massive paws could disembowel him instantly. One bite could crush his skull like an eggshell. The video cuts off abruptly. We don't see how it ends. Somehow, miraculously, he escaped completely unharmed. Whether the bears lost interest or he managed to scare them off remains unknown. What matters is, he survived something that should have killed him. This is one of the closest encounters with death ever captured on film. The wilderness doesn't care about you. Bears don't discriminate. Whether it's Bigfoot or grizzlies hunting in the dark, nothing out there will hesitate to tear you apart. Be safe out there, or don't go at all.